From Florida's Space Coast, this is Your Career.
Welcome to Your Career. I'm Debbie Featherston, your host, and with me today we have two experts in the travel industry. Gerry, thank you for being with us, and this is Geraldine Blanchard. You're the owner of Global Tours and Travel.
I am. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
You.
And Julie Syverson. And Julie, you are the owner of Cruise Planners.
Yes. Thank you for
Perfect.
having me.
Well, I'm delighted to have you here. I'm just curious, kicking this off, knowing that there's probably other viewers who are interested in the travel industry.
Yes.
And so I wanted to share with them some information about maybe, is this really an industry that's right for them? And if it is, what are some things that they can do? So let's just start with your own personal experiences. Right. What events really led you to own a business in the travel industry?
Business. I've been doing this 21 years. Global Tours started here in Melbourne, Florida when we came back from the Middle East. When my husband was transferred here. And my daughter was studying the business, so I said, well, this is the opportunity. But I come from a family of tour operators. My mother was a successful tour operator in Haiti.
Oh, that's great.
And I remember at 7 years, I was 8 years old, and I would tell her, I said, don't worry, Ma, I'll take over the agency. But things changed. Haiti was in turmoil. So here it is. It's in Melbourne, Florida, that we came in and realized my dream.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you've got a family history.
Definitely.
That's
yeah.
great.
It's
Wonderful.
still going.
Oh, perfect. Julie?
I actually was a flight attendant for about, combined almost 29 years. I worked for a commercial airline for over 20 years and then worked for a Fortune 500 company as a corporate flight attendant, worked for a cruise line and a call center then, and wanted to get into owning my own business. So looked into owning a travel franchise, and that's, once you're in travel, you're bitten. You can't get out of it.
It's in your blood, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes.
So true.
Well, tell us about your individual businesses. And Julie, if you'll just continue on, you said that you have a franchise. So do you have bricks and mortar? Is it home-based? Tell us a little bit about the scope of the services that you offer, just to give us a snapshot of what that looks like.
I am a full-service travel agent. But I am wherever my phone and my computer are, and it is awesome. So I can work from a cruise ship, I can work from Europe, I can work from my son's lacrosse field, I can work wherever I want from my kitchen table. So that was the appeal for the franchise that I bought, because it allowed me the flexibility to kind of continue traveling and doing what I want to do, and being a part of an active life that I enjoy. So, yeah.
And the company name is Cruise Planners.
Cruise
so that would
Planners.
Suggest that you're into cruises, but
It is
not
that.
so much?
Initially, cruises were the mainstay of the Cruise Planners company, but we do everything: land, resorts, tickets to sporting events. It's a full-service agency.
Full service.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Wow. No, I'm the extreme opposite, because I'm a brick and mortar, and I have staff. There's 6 of us in the office. In fact, we're getting ready to move to a larger office, because travel agencies, we're happy to say, are on the rebound. And Asta has a wonderful saying, without a travel agent, you're on your own. And we're seeing that more and more. And so we are full service. I mean, we are truly, wherever you want to go in the world, we say we have the world at our fingertips, and we help clients from everywhere. We're very fortunate too, because of our languages in the office. I have a big international business from the French West Indies, where my husband is from St. Bart's, from Guadeloupe, and all that. So that also is a plus for us. That has helped us.
Excellent, excellent. So it's a way to really get more groups, perhaps.
Absolutely. And the groups, of course, is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Perfect.
So 21 years later, here we are.
That's great.
Yeah, so,
And Julie, now you had mentioned that you had a franchise. That in itself is a decision. How did you go about really deciding on Cruise Planners as the franchise that you want to do?
I just did a lot of homework as to the franchises that were available. I really liked the training that they offered, and the support, the ongoing support, and the training, and really just the company, the feel that you get talking to people, and as I was kind of interviewing and making my decision for which franchise I wanted to buy. And they're award-winning. I mean, they come up every year as far as franchises to own and places to work and things like that. So it's a great company, and I've owned my franchise just for a little over a year, but I'm very happy with the support and backing that I've gotten from them. So
Perfect, perfect, because that's often a really tough decision.
Right.
Do you open up your own business, and own it outright, as you are, Gerry, or do you buy into a franchise and what works for you? And so there's a lot of factors that went into that decision, and often, the business is as good as your franchisor.
Right.
So awesome! Thank you for explaining how you decided. I'm just curious, looking at both of your both of you have extensive experience in the travel industry. Tell me a little bit more about what changes you've seen over the 20-plus years that you've been in the industry.
Oh, my goodness. Well, when
It
we
could be
opened,
major wins, whichever
yes,
way.
Major. No, the big thing, we live off commissions. This is how we get our revenues. So we don't make our, we don't tell you how much, the cost comes from the company we represent. So we align ourselves with, in our case, vacation.com, which is the umbrella for all travel agents. We're a consortium that we can then, spin off for the commissions to get higher commissions, of course. And so we have, we can honestly tell you that for us, it was a way to, that was the only way that I saw the light, to give. Because at the end of the day, with this internet and all that, what do we have? We have service. We give service to our clients. And believe me, when I tell you that you're happy to just make the phone call and say, here, this is what I want to do, and we just present you the documents. How great is that?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what we have to offer right now, and that's what we thrive on.
From your perspective, Julie, what are some changes that you've seen in the industry? And feel free, you as a flight attendant, you have a slightly different perspective as well coming into this industry now as an owner.
Everybody's looking for a deal. Everybody's looking for the $99 fare, the last minute cruise deal. It's so price conscious, and those deals really
Don't exist.
Yeah, they don't exist. Just because we live close to the port doesn't mean that on Friday afternoon you can walk on and get on a cruise. And it's, I think, trying to get people away from that thinking. That's always the challenge. And those advertised prices that you see, those are the lead-in prices. Those are in the cabins you probably don't want to be in, or on the dates of the tour in Europe you don't want to be on.
Or the port charges are not included.
Right.
And the government taxes, and the government fees.
Right,
and all that,
right. That's just and so many people fixate on that, oh, you can cruise for $199. Not really, but so it's kind of overcoming that. But there's airlines out there that have low fares, and so everybody is looking price sensitive. So I've noticed that change, and and the internet, of course, is the big one. So
sure,
and everybody, while you're talking to them, they're on their computer looking to see, and they think it's the same price, and just trying to get people to compare apples to apples instead of apples and oranges, which is
exactly. And you're forever trying to defend what you're doing and say, but this is what you're in. You have to, of course, trust your travel agent. You have to try
absolutely.
to
Build a relationship and really trust the agent.
You do, and know that they're getting you the best, that they can do for you. So
and in our case, after 20 years, we want to work with organizations that really truly need our help. And we fight for them. At the end of the month, I can show them, give them a report of how much was spent on travel. So we have that side, and then we have the high-end clients that that we put everything together for them, and so that's nice. And of course, the daily, the individuals. We do it all. Just like we have to, because you're not in a business where you can just choose. We can accommodate at every level. And that's a sign of a good travel agent.
Absolutely. Did you find anything around, any differences after 9/11? Have there been government regulations or anything that have come into play that have impacted, what you do in the travel industry?
Well, I think the requirements for travel have changed, of course, after that. And, anytime there's anything that goes on around the world with, any kind of event, people take a pause and think, is that really where I want to go? But we've had things happen real close to home here, too. And you just, if you're going to travel, you're going to travel. You just have to, you're going to have those people that are going to object. And
But hands-on thing that happened in your tickets now, you know, when we book, we have to put the name as it appears in the passport and the date of birth. And to this day, people are leery of giving us the date of birth. They say, why do you need it? It is a requirement. So if anybody's listening, there's no choice. You have to do it that way. And so there was that. But I remember I was there after 1911. I thought it was like cut the wrist, let the blood flow, because it was just, we had groups going all over. And, but no, we those that...
You survived.
Yeah, we had to kind of pull ourselves together and make it happen.
Yeah.
So
I just wondered, what about the people that were in the business? Did you see a shift in the travel agents? You know, like you've got 5, 6 of you in your office. You know, you saw flight attendants as well.
Huge cutbacks. Huge. I was in the air on 9/11.
Yeah.
And and just, I mean, right starting that next day, the staff was cut because they knew the reservations just
dry.
Oh yeah,
But deep dive, right?
They came back,
Yeah.
but it took a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they had to cut, and of course, in our case, you know, just to stay open, you know, I mean, it took we kept our staff, you know, but let me tell you, So a lot of the agencies, the brick and mortar, have literally vanished. In our area, there's about 4 of us left. Out of maybe 15, 18, but that's a reality. But a lot of them are home-based, like Julie, so travel is still alive and well.
That's
You
good.
know, so
We love
this is-
that because we all need a vacation,
Right.
and sometimes we just have to travel for business.
Right.
That seems to be becoming more infrequent as well, as we have other platforms like WebEx and Zoom and whatever media, maybe Skype even for business. I think just sometimes we don't think about how what's going on in the world may be impacting your industry, right? Because when we think about travel, maybe this is how I think about travel, I'm thinking about having a good time.
Yes.
I'm
Right.
thinking about maybe a mix of business and pleasure, because often the locations I'll go to, I get to see some family I don't get to see as often, or things like that as well, right?
If I may, I'll give you a quick example. We have a group going to Africa, and we were looking for, of course, best rates always, you know, to make it affordable. And I was looking at all the airlines that would get us there, and finally, and I was even looking at Turkish Airlines, but my instinct said, you know, with all the trouble, maybe best not. And by God, it was the right decision, because, you know, it would have, the group would have collapsed. They would not have wanted to go. So we went with Emirates, and we're going to stop in Dubai instead.
Wonderful.
So that was an
That's
extra thing,
great. But you know, it's all the
Yeah.
thinking about those details that puts together the best, safest,
Exactly.
you know, vacation or
Right.
experience.
Right.
And you just have to be aware. You have to be aware of what's going on politically, weather-wise is a big part of
We're talking about the whole picture.
You have to have the whole picture.
Yeah.
Well, tell me a little bit more about that, because when you're hiring, right, if you were hiring someone in the travel industry, what kinds of, what knowledge base is really helpful?
The most important thing is just the customer service aspect. Is just somebody that's going to pay attention to the details, somebody that's going to follow up, somebody that is really just going to give, you know, the whole package. And the rest of that stuff, it comes. I think it does, but you have to really like to work with the public and people and be interested in it. But you
Maybe
really
enjoy
do.
travel.
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Want to move around the
Right,
globe, or maybe
right.
have some curiosity about
And
what's
have done
happening
a
in
little
Ireland
bit
or
of
whatever.
it too.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It certainly helps.
Yeah. Geography, you know, it's
Yes.
a weakness for American travel agents.
That's-
It's
yes.
a big weakness.
Yes.
And also, in our case, when we started 20 years ago, and I'm glad I got trained at the time by American, that we, you know, it's all the codes that we do for the airlines. And I do it I mean, all the agents that have been trained do it very fast. Now you can do it on the website and all. It's not quite, but to understand the mechanics of how the fare is structured is not given to everybody. So you can't take somebody off the street and say, Julie's right about the customer service, that's vital. But to know which tour operators are going to deliver the product that you're looking, you know, that your client is looking for. So that comes with a few
Experience.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
now, if I recall correctly, depending on what we're doing in the travel industry, there's a what kind of education, or I was going to say there's certifications that they might need, like CLIA
Right.
for cruises. Not sure what
Oh,
else.
the ASTA gives, as well as the CTA, Certified Travel Agent, that is offered, and it's great. You learn on your own time, and then you get the certification, so you can put those letters behind your name, And I think the years, when you hear Julie's experience with all she's done, obviously she knows where she's coming from. Us, 20 years, obviously. We know a little bit about travel, so that's what has been a saving grace for us.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So the one main thing it sounds like that you would hire for is really personality, so that they could, or maybe that they're customer focused, because I heard customer service being
big.
the major differentiator.
Yes.
You spend a lot of time on the phone and face-to-face with people. You have to have patience, a lot of patience, and the details. There's so many details.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're cruising or land tour or whatever you're putting together. So many details. And you
Give
have
me an
to-
idea of some of those kinds of details that.
Well, and I always tell people, treat it as if it were your own or your own family, and I guarantee you'll
Right,
be successful.
right,
every
Okay.
time.
Yes,
But from the time they come in, so if you have to see the visual, the picture of the entire trip from the time they're being transferred to the airport, because we offer that service as well. Get to the airport, and when they arrive there, who's going to be greeting them? So these are the details that to be received at the airport. Get to the hotel. Again, from the hotel, then afterwards, the excursions that maybe it's a pre-cruise or they're there for a few days. Or then afterwards, when they have to change countries or cities or whatever. So these are the details. And believe me, things can go wrong. But when you have if anything were to go wrong, they have us at any one time. 24/7. Our phones are connected.
Around the world? Doesn't matter where they are.
Around the world. Yeah. And they
See,
do.
that's the difference.
It happens sometimes. Very rarely, thank God. But sometimes, or a flight is canceled.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with us, but we got to fix
You're
it.
right.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
then
And that's
go
why
in
you
and-
use a travel agent, because
Yeah.
they're the ones
Yeah.
that you're going to call. And
Yeah.
Yep.
So while everybody's standing in line waiting for.
That's right. They can skip the line.
You
They
go
skip
right
the
to your
line.
agent.
We fix
Right.
it.
and get
Right.
that
Yeah,
seat
yeah.
that's about ready to take off or whatever.
right.
Interesting, very good.
Right.
Well, what experience has really best prepared you to do what you do in the travel industry? Because really, Gerry, I think yours is somewhat different in that you're supervising and managing a team of 5, right?
I'll tell you though, because my mother was a travel agent, and and she was very smart. We were young, 8, 9 years old, and she would take us on her tours every year when one of the siblings would go. So I was in training, little did I know. But then afterwards, my husband traveled the world. We were in the Middle East for many years. So we traveled quite a bit because, you had, on the way back home, we'd stop somewhere else. So I had that. And I speak several languages, so that too has helped because we have the international, the French and the Spanish. So all these things put together, really, it's not one item, but I'm very fortunate, very blessed that I was able to put it all together.
That's great.
And pass it
that's
on to my
great.
daughter.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So it's really the collection of life experiences and things that occurred when you were just a child
Right. Oh, yeah.
and had
Yeah.
seemed like you were just going to go have some fun with mom,
Right.
but
And I
yeah,
still
you're
remember.
learning.
Yes,
That's incredible. Julie, how about yourself?
I think flexibility. I think, in any given day I can be working with somebody booking a cruise, and then somebody wants to go to Ireland, and then somebody is calling because they're looking for tickets for the Jacksonville football game. And you're just still thinking about that cruise, but you're doing multitasking and being flexible. And, somebody calls you thinking they want something else, and you're suggesting maybe that isn't the right, trying to find something that's a better fit for them. And it's just, you just have to be flexible. And my phone rings at 8 o'clock at night, and I answer it. And I think that's great, because I will be honest, that is when I'm the busiest, is usually in the evening.
Sure.
People come home from work, they talk to
Sure.
their families, they decide this is what they're going to do. And it's flexibility then in my own life
Right.
of being able to take that
Right.
call and make that work. So, and
Good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
Well, we work from
But-
8 o'clock in the morning, but the phone keeps on ringing.
Yeah, yes. I mean, my phone rings at 8 in the morning too, but it seems more afternoon and evening is where my business
Right.
is, and yeah, my background in flying, we were very flexible. You have to be able
Yeah.
to change and think
At a
fast
moment's
too. And I've had to think fast about a couple things
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
position
Yeah.
too. So
When you were talking, I was hearing organization as another key skill set, right? We talk about multitasking, but the brain really, there's more research today that says, yeah, we're not so good at multitasking, really. That's not, our brains don't
Some
really
days
switch
better
and
than
work.
others.
Well, there's more, there's research that actually suggests that you lose 15 minutes of time between, let's say I respond to an email here and then I have to get back to what I was working on. There's a 15-minute loss in productivity for a lot of us.
really,
I didn't know that.
So,
but
there's
Yeah.
all kinds of data that says
No.
multitasking is not necessarily the thing that we want
Really?
to pride
But
ourselves
right.
into.
in the office, you don't have a choice.
You're
You
moving
can be
all
working
to-
on a program, and then the phone rings, and Mr. X is stranded in Denmark or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Guess what? You can't say, "Well, gotta
That's
finish
it.
my
Right.
That's
you've
right.
Gotta,
That's
gotta
right.
take care of him.
Right.
So, but organization, you're
Yes,
absolutely right.
Yeah. That way
Vital.
you can come back to
Back,
that task,
Vital.
right?
Right.
And know exactly where you were.
Vital, yeah.
So kind of bringing it together a little bit, let me pause for just a moment and take us a slightly different direction before I do the summary piece. What are some of the challenges that you think an individual who's new to travel will experience? What might be a transition or aha surprise?
it
maybe?
takes a while. It takes a while
Yeah.
to build a business.
But if they're wanting to come into your business just as a travel agent, not that they
As
want to
your
start their own,
assistant.
but they want to just work.
It still takes
as
a
an
while.
agent. Yeah, okay.
It takes a
okay.
while to learn the business and
Yeah.
learn systems and like airlines and cruises and land tours. They're all different and how it works, and
Yeah.
it takes time. It's a process. So
Is right, and it's true. I mean, we do it so much that for me, it's it just comes out. I
It's just
just
second
know
nature, right?
somebody comes. I know exactly, the airline. I mean, with the proposal to me. But you're right. It has to be how the person is. Personality is huge. You have to be always on your best behavior. It doesn't matter what happens at home. When a client is sitting in front of us, for me, this is all that matters. Is their
right.
travel. Doesn't matter if I have issues, somewhere else. And so personality, and then to be able to be willing to study. We have webinars all the time. Webinars are the ones where they teach us,
great.
because the industry moves fast, just as fast as the medical world. I think the travel business moves that fast as well.
Wow, that's
to know
incredible.
how to make connections and how to deliver the best product.
Yeah,
Very
that's
difficult.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rate of change, and so being able to
right.
deal with change,
Change,
Right.
yeah.
being
Oh,
able
yeah.
to organize,
Oh, yeah.
be
Yeah.
really customer focused again.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and what about the customer that comes in? I mean, what percentage of the customers are really looking for you to give them suggestions, options, for things that they can do? They may say, I want to go on this trip, I want to go here, but I really don't know what's available.
It happens.
It happens a lot.
It
Quite a
does.
bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. And you have to, we're the consultants.
Right. So
So
that body
we
of
have-
knowledge of
Yes.
those geographic areas or
Yeah.
locations are
Right.
going to be important
Correct,
as well.
because otherwise, why would they come to
Right,
us?
right.
So
Sure enough.
could do it on their own. So,
Yeah.
and you have to show your forte. You have to say, hey, I can help you. That's so important.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
the get-go.
So, in the couple minutes that we have remaining, I'm curious. Over 20-some years of experience in the same industry, you're both rather accomplished, in the travel industry, right? You've chosen to be owners. What really keeps you excited and motivated to keep doing what you're doing?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
No, it's true. It's a very good question, because I sometimes wonder, but I know that in the past year, I have brought so much joy to people. I know in my heart and soul, I've created memories, and with the help of my agents, I shouldn't say the Global Tours has brought so many memories, and that's what life is all about. Because very often the return on commissions-wise and all that does not compensate what the time and effort that we have spent. But we do it out of joy. When I get a testimonial that says, geez, we are so grateful to you, it makes the day,
Yeah.
makes it all worthwhile.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like smiles on a
Yes.
person's face, right?
That's right.
Same thing when
great.
somebody says, you've made our trip, you know, this was the best trip we've ever been on. You know, we had a great time. And I worry the whole time somebody's on a
Exactly.
trip.
We follow them from afar.
Yes, I'm worrying that there's a hurricane or that, you know, that until I hear that they're back and it all went well, I kind of, you know, and I can have a whole bunch of people traveling in 1 week and same weekend all on the same cruise.
Right.
Still worry about them like they're my own family because I want them to come back and I want it to be a great experience. And it thrills me when they, you know, just call you and say thank you. That was great. It was easy. You made it. It was a pleasure. You know, it's just that makes it so worthwhile.
I do believe that if you were to ask many more travel agents, that's the true philosophy. You know, if you really care for your clients, then the rest comes, you know, falls into place.
Yeah.
You know,
Awesome.
so,
Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure. Any words of advice? Any parting words or words of encouragement to anyone that's thinking about the travel industry?
To join the travel industry.
Yeah, they want this to be a career for them.
All of the above, willing to study and learn the process. And it's nice when you can learn from a travel agency that's been around or from someone who's been, you know, that's the easiest way because it's a lot to take in, a lot to read,
Been in
and
the
a lot to,
trenches then.
yeah, and then
That's great.
and have someone to. We used to be a how do you call it? An agency for the university.
Oh, yes.
And then they would come in. In fact, we have interns, and they loved it.
That's great.
So,
Well, that's going to have to be the last word. Ladies, thank you very much. Thank you for the motivation and inspirational advice and just experience that you have and success. So, on behalf of my guest and everyone here on the set of Your Career, thank you for watching, and remember, be career happy.
More information about this program is available online at millermediagroup.org.